Hi, my name is Mike Arce, CEO of Loud Rumor, an organization that helps fitness studios all over the world grow and be more successful. I'm also the host of Top Fitness Business Podcast, the GSD show, and your host on this podcast as well. The goal of this podcast is to help you stay informed on some good ideas that your fitness studio can implement to succeed during this pandemic. And we got two big pieces of news here today, and some are good, some are bad, just depends on how you look at it. I think that goes to pretty much everything though, right? So first thing that we got earlier today is that the Paycheck Protection Program has announced that it's run out of money. It does not have the funds available, and the SBA has announced that they are no longer going to be accepting applications for it. So for those of you guys that took action immediately and were first in line, you guys may have already gotten your money. I know that we got ours, which was great. And a lot of studio owners that I have talked to has gotten theirs, which is great. I do know that some people that even did take action, maybe not quick enough, or maybe just luck of the draw, they didn't get it. And there's a lot of people that did wait that extra half day or day, which although seems like you took action quickly, unfortunately, that's not necessarily as fast. And it could not have been your fault. It could have been you didn't have the right finance team, which technically, again, if you always wanted to find a way to take ownership, that could be your fault, right? It's very, very important. You got a really good finance team, a team that really manages your money, a good bookkeeper, a good tax preparer. And this is something I've talked about in the past. And right now, if you have accepted a lot of the excuses that your team might be giving you, just know that there's a lot of teams out there that made it happen faster. So that may be something to consider once we kind of get back to whatever normalcy looks like, is making sure that you're aligning your regular team with a really good finance team. If you guys need recommendations, feel free to let me know. I've got some really good contacts. So what does that mean? By the way, there's a second big update, but what does that mean? Well, that means nothing, because you should be acting no differently than you acted whether you had the money or not. In my head, what I told my team was, look, we may not get this money. I don't know if it's real or not. It could be real. It could be one of those things that actually happens. But, you know, I did have some doubt that the money would actually come through. So in my head, whether we're going to get it or not doesn't change our plan. We are moving forward, and it shouldn't change your plan. So right now, if you found out you may not be getting your money at all or recently or whatever, you should still have the same plan. And if your plan was to wait it out, clearly you now have to change plans to figure it out, which should have been the original plan. So make sure that you guys are constantly in that figure it out mode. You signed up to be an entrepreneur. It's your job. Now, here's the thing. I can't imagine if this thing continues to go on that they won't open up a whole nother set of funds. I've heard that is very possible. I've been reading about it. They're saying that is possible, but guys, like, you got to have less and less faith, right, on that kind of stuff, because you can't count on people like that. You got to count on yourself. You can count on yourself, right? The actions you take. You know, people ask me why I don't bet on stocks and stuff like that. Well, I don't know stocks well enough. I know me, and I bet on myself because I know the work that I can do. And I know if I needed to, I can always put an extra couple hours, 3 more hours, 4 more hours every day if I wanted to. So bet on yourself, go full force. Second thing I want to make sure that you guys understand is that Donald Trump has already announced that he is giving permission to the governors of each state to go ahead and decide whether or not they want to open up their own states based on what they see. And so states with low numbers and that are trending downwards in cases are going to have the ability to open up normally again. Now, what does normally mean? Well, a lot of studio owners that I've talked to already have already told me that just to prepare with what happens, they're going to be changing the way they do their classes for PR, which, by the way, everyone listening, I really think it's a good idea to do this as well. So what that means is if your class normally fits 30 people, you may say, hey, we're going to only start with 15 people at max. If normally your class has a 15-minute break between the next class starts, I might say a 30 to 45-minute break so that you have the time to fully clean everything and the people that are about to come in see you doing so. If you guys aren't doing that, not only could you continue to be part of the problem that exists, right? Whether you believe it does or doesn't matter. Like, you know, you gotta play the game, right? One thing I can't stand is when I'm watching athletes play the game and they're like arguing with the refs. Just stop arguing with the refs. Learn how the ref is calling the game and then just work with it, play with it. That's what the best athletes do. And as a business owner, you got to do the same thing. So whether you believe this virus is real, not real, I've been hearing so many things, it doesn't matter. Treat it like the way they're treating it so that you can play the game and still win with whatever calls are being made. Okay? Because you're arguing with the refs isn't changing anything, you know? Okay, so what does that mean? That means if you are going to be having half the size classes, and you're going to be having more time in between classes. You're going to be serving less people per day, meaning you're going to have people that are less happy with your service because they're going to have a harder time getting into a class because they fill up much, much quicker. You could imagine, right? If already the class could only be half as full, already it's going to get booked up twice as fast. But then you take the fact that there's a bigger break in between each one, add another 30% faster booked before they can get into a class. So now it's just too much, right? You just see how that happens. You're not going to be able to be super profitable on that. So you're still going to need your online stream. Continue to run your online play. Do not change plan right now. I promise you it's not the right play for two reasons. Number one, because of what I just said, you're still going to need additional revenue to make up for all the people that aren't going to be able to get in right away. And for the second reality, which is, what if opening up too soon causes this thing to reignite and we find ourselves in this spot again over the summer? If that happened, are you prepared? Were you prepared for this? Well, if you're not prepared for this and you're not prepared for number two, at what point does it become our fault? So let's just understand we still need to be playing the game. And as a business owner, your job is to constantly grow the business while minimizing risk for your people, your members, and the families that they serve, right? So other than that, two big updates. Paycheck protection program seems to have run out of funds. Donald Trump is allowing governors of each state to open up each state at their own discretion. And that could be good news. That could not be good news. It doesn't matter. We play the same game and we just learn how to adjust to the way the refs are calling it. And that's what we do. Okay, guys? All right. Have a great day. GSD.